What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the HC Sports Podcast, your weekly episode for recaps, previews, and anything newsworthy that I want to talk about. How are you guys doing today? It is Wednesday, November 20th. Had a heck of a day at work today. Always a good time. Let's talk about today's show. So we have, as usual, we have a recap. We're going to be recapping two games. Then we're going to move on to the previews. We're going to be previewing two games. And then we have two newsworthy things that happened this week. According to me, newsworthy things. They weren't super big, and no breaking news happened really in the past week, obviously, besides the Myles Garrett thing that happened. If you guys want to go check out that video or see what I had to say about that, that was my last video. It's Quick Hits, Myles Garrett and Why I Hate the NFL. That is what it's titled. Go check it out, see what I think about it. And let me know. We can have a discussion down in the comment section about that. But outside of that, I only have two things to talk about from last week, news-wise. Let's start back up at the top, and let's talk about the Jaguars and the Colts. The Colts beat the Jaguars 33-13. I wanted to recap this game because it was Nick Foles' first game back from breaking his collarbone, and Jacoby Brissett being back from being out 2 games, the past 2 games. And then starting out, I wanted to talk about the Colts defense. They completely won this game for the team. I know that the Colts scored 33 points, but taking Leonard Fournette completely out of the game, only allowing 23 yards on 8 carries, is amazing. The number there isn't 23. That's not the number you should be focusing on. It's the 8 carries. The Colts defense made the Jaguars completely abandon the identity in this game, which has pound the rock with the league's 6th ranked leader in yards, Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette has played fantastic this season, and we've been waiting for this type of Leonard Fournette season for a while now. He's been in and out of the lineup because of injuries, and he's having that type of season. For the Colts to completely have the Jaguars abandoned, they didn't just stop them. They stopped them and made Doug Marrone abandon the run completely, which he did come out after the game and say it was a huge mistake not to give Fournette the ball more, which I completely agree with. You can't just stop handing the 6th ranked leader in yards the ball. You can't stop giving him the ball. And they completely abandoned it in like the first half. They were done giving him the ball. You can't do it that quickly. You have to keep at it. You have to keep pounding it because that's your identity. That's what you do every single week. You're used to pounding the rock. I know the Colts defense is very impressive. Very, very, very impressive. But you should be leaning on Fournette even more since it was Nick Foles' first game back. You have to ease Nick Foles into playing. You don't want him throwing. I think he threw 47 times. You can't have him throwing 47 times, man. That's not on his first game back. I know he's getting paid a lot of money to throw the ball that much, but your identity is to run the ball. It was amazing for the Colts defense to make Doug Marrone completely forget about their identity and shut down Leonard Fournette. I want to give huge props to them for doing that. Speaking of Nick Foles, just mentioned him a second ago. He looked pretty good in this game outside of the pick 2 at the end of the game, and he did do something I was noticing. He was continuously trying to force the ball to DJ Chark. He forced the ball his way about 5 times. He was only successful 1. That was the second touchdown at the end of the game, and then that's when afterwards he threw that pick 2. 2 of those times out of the 4 times it didn't work, it should have been picked off. Completely went through the receiver's hands or bounced off it went through a corner's hands. It should have been picked, and it bounced off of a linebacker's chest, I believe, if I'm correct about that. 2 of them should have been picks, flat out. I didn't like how much he was trying to force the ball towards his way, which I get it. DJ Chark is great. He looks amazing, but you need to slow it down. But that was only a minor part of Nick Foles, his 296-yard, 2 touchdown, 1 interception game. His return from breaking his collarbone, I was impressed with him on his first game back, but he was far from the problem in this game. The defensive play calling and execution was damn near flawless. There's nothing you can do about it. He wasn't, outside of the couple times he did force it to DJ Chark, he didn't force it to anybody else. He kind of looked around. He went through his progressions really well. Nick Foles is extremely smart. He's not a rookie. He's a really good veteran. Went through his progressions. And then he said, well, I just got to dump it off. And he did that a lot, which is smart if the defense is calling plays that are that good. But, he wasn't the problem in this game. The problem was the offensive play calling wasn't working for what the defense was calling. They just called a perfect game, almost a perfect game. Obviously, there was 2 touchdowns in there, but it was impressive. Welcome back, Nick Foles. Hope you have a nice bounce-back game against the Titans with a win. Rooting for you guys. Rooting for Nick Foles. I really like the guy. And obviously, everybody likes the backup there of Gardner Minshew. And then I mentioned DJ Shark a little while ago. I want to take a moment to talk about him for a second. Outside of Jacksonville Jaguars fans, I'm not sure who's even heard of this kid last year. He had, I believe it was less than 200 yards receiving, and I think it was less than 20 catches. He was a very unimpressive rookie. No one heard of him. No one knew who the guy was. And I'm not sure what made him take a huge leap from last year to this year, whether it was he was just given an opportunity, or it was just his hard work, or the talent was always there and he had no quarterback. But he's really, really good. 8 receptions, 104 yards, and scoring the team's only 2 touchdowns. Doing all that while the Colts defense seemed to shut down damn near every single other player on the offense. And he was still going out there making plays. He was still out there balling. He was the only guy making plays out there. I was very impressed with him. Both the touchdowns. The first touchdown, it was yards after catch. He just kind of weaved in and out and got the touchdown. The second one, great throw, great catch. DJ Shark is really good. I really like him, and I really like the progress that he's making, and I hope he continues to entertain. Honestly, after the first week, I play fantasy football, and after the first week, I kind of thought he was an anomaly. I was like, oh, he's one of those week 1 blow-up guys, and I don't really want to pick him up. But I picked him up, and I was like, whatever. He'll just sit on my bench. Dude has been phenomenal. He is balled out on my fantasy team. Shout out to DJ Shark for being a baller. Love you for that. Let's move on to talk about the Colts offensive stars. Starting with Marlon Mack. He played really well in this game, rushing for 109 yards on 14 carries through less than 3 quarters. He has played really, really well this season. He's a key piece of this team. But now he has a common fracture in his hand. I forgot what it's called. It starts with an M. It's a medical term. I don't feel like stumbling over the words to try to pronounce it. But it is a common fracture in his hand. He's fully expected to be out next game, this Thursday actually, against the Texans. The Texans are the 12th best rushing defense in the league, but they are also paired with the 4th worst passing defense in the league. So if he just misses one game, the impact of Marlon Mack being out will actually not be that large because of how much faith I have in Jacoby Brissett. He is an unsung hero. I definitely want to do a segment on him or a player breakdown on him at some point because of how much he's not being talked about. Okay, usually if it's against a really good defense, a running defense, I would say yes, Marlon Mack is going to be sorely missed because of how good he's playing this year. He's 5th in the league in rushing yards. They're going to miss that. But since the Texans passing defense is so bad, I think Jacoby Brissett and the Colts offense are going to be perfectly fine, and I think they might come out on top with the win. Just a little 2 cents from me on that game. I am not previewing the game later, but that is what I think will happen. Alrighty. And then last thing about Marlon Mack is they will need him back for the Titans because the Titans do have really good defense. Moving on. Bears versus Rams. Okay. The Rams beat the Bears in this very, very heavily defensive battle. Okay. I wanted to start talking about the Bears. Honestly, I'm not really going to talk about the Rams in this one because depending on their record, I am going to do a segment at the end of the season. I don't know if it'll be a separate video or it'll be a full segment saying what happened to the Rams. And I might do a full what happened to series What happened to the Rams? What happened to the Cowboys? What happened to this team that were supposed to be good but weren't as good as they were supposed to be? So I kind of want to do that at the end of the season, so I'm not really going to talk about the Rams too much for the rest of the season because I want to save everything I have to say about them at the end. Okay. I want to talk about the Bears, starting with the quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky is probably disliked by most Bears fans, and honestly, I can understand why. After trading up in the first round to draft him after 3 seasons, this is his 3rd season, so it's more like 2.5 season. He hasn't put up the numbers they need from a first round quarterback. Even though he's made the Pro Bowl last year, I'm still curious on why he made the Pro Bowl last year. I was never really impressed with him last year. His numbers don't jump out on the page from you. He made a big jump last year, absolutely. From year 1 to year 2, he made a huge leap. So maybe it was just Bears fans voting on the Pro Bowl for him, which makes sense. But from year 2 to 3 this year, it's almost like he's digressed back to year 1. His year 1 numbers are very, very similar to his year 3 numbers, which is this year. I don't know what made him take that step back. Nothing really changed. I'm not sure why, but I did watch the tape on him in this game, and I saw that he's smart. He goes through his progressions really well, but his problem is his arm. And it's not his accuracy, it's his arm strength. He often underthrows his receivers. And then he throws his receivers to the wrong shoulder when on the sideline. So if it needs to be in a certain place on the sideline, he won't throw it to that place, or he will completely throw them under. He underthrows the crap out of the ball. His arm strength is disgusting. It's awful. But like I said, he's smart. He gets through his progressions well, and he knows his limits. With his arm, at least, okay? He tries to test it. He does. He takes those shots, which you should as a quarterback. You need to take those shots. You need to try to push it downfield, or the defense is just going to play up, and your offensive play calling isn't going to work, which has happened to the Bears on multiple occasions. He just doesn't have the arm to do the things he wants to do, okay? He fails more times than not when testing it. His coach also knows his limits, giving him a receiver outlet to throw to. Not just like a normal running back like every other team does, just a dump-off pass to the running back. Matt Nagy gives him a flat route to the right or the left. Boom, here you go. And he's hoping when he does that, what I'm thinking is, hey, I know that maybe he needs this dump-off pass. I'm not going to give him the running back. I'm going to give him the receiver because maybe the receiver can make more of a play than the running back can, which I agree. I think it's smart, but he's sacrificing that receiver to do a medium or a deep route or doing just a more complex route for that short outlet for Mitchell Trubisky. So they could play zone coverage and just one of their corners just sit in the flat and take it away. Or then you have to dump it off to the tight end, and he's not going to make any better play than a running back is, than Tariq Cohen is, which they need to just change him to a wide receiver at this point. Stop giving him the ball inside zones, because that's what they do 90% of the time is they're giving him inside zones. That should be given to David Montgomery, who's a smash-mouth football type of player. Stop giving him the ball inside. I do have a problem with the play calling, and I don't know if it's just because, hey, it's Mr. Trubisky. I know your limits, dude. I want to give you this stuff. But then it's easy to read. And then your offense looks like trash. It does. It's boring. He's one of the most boring quarterbacks and one of the most boring offenses I've actually watched this season. Okay? But let's not get it twisted. Okay? He's not a very good quarterback, but he's not worse than Chase Daniels. Stop saying that, Bears fans. Chase Daniels is not better than Mitchell Trubisky. He's a worse Mitchell Trubisky. Has the same subpar arm. He can't make those throws. But he also doesn't get through his progressions. When he was put in the last game, I was watching him, and the dude got to his first progression every time and would stop. He got through to his third progression one time on his throws. I know he didn't throw very much, but from what I've seen, and I've seen him a couple times before this too, he's not better than Mitchell Trubisky. It's not that he's not much better. He isn't better than Mitchell Trubisky. Okay? The offense didn't open up. They didn't give him more more play calling and better routes when he was in, you're better off with Mitchell Trubisky. He gives the Bears the best chance to win when it comes to quarterbacks on their roster, which they need to just go out there and get a quarterback, whether it's Cam, whether it's drafting one, whether it's Marcus Mariota, whether it's Jameis Winston, because he should probably be on the free agent market next year for how shitty he's playing. Okay? It needs to be a different quarterback. But at this moment right now, the Bears have a fighting chance for a playoff spot. They need to keep fighting. They need to keep pushing. And Mitchell Trubisky gives them that best chance. So Bears fans, stop saying Chase Daniels is a better quarterback, because he's not. Watch the tape. Don't just watch the game in the moment. Watch the tape afterwards. It gives you a better perspective of what you're actually looking at, because you're looking at him specifically. I had a couple of things going into this game to look at, and Mitchell Trubisky was one of them, because I haven't really looked at him this season. And I looked at him, I watched the tape, I really looked at him, I looked at him getting through his progressions, and he sucks. He's boring. But he's better than Chase Daniels. Stop saying he's better, because he's not. Moving on. I'm going to talk about something pretty obvious. Bears have a kicker problem. Let's be pretty quick. Matt Nagy needs to stop losing games because of kickers. They need to go out and get another kicker. They had a 3-kicker battle during the offseason after Cody Parker did his double doink. Or that was 2 seasons ago, right? A couple seasons ago. So they just need to go out and get another kicker. They've had 6 kickers since Robbie Gould. Okay? They need to keep searching, because it's almost like the kickers have some type of curse. It's almost like they get out on their field. And that's what I think about. Every time a kicker goes out on that field, in Soldier Field, and they go out to go kick that ball, I'm like, oh, he's about to go double doink that. That man's about to go double doink that right now. He's about to go kick that ball. That man's about to double doink it. That's what I think every single time. So, and I know there's a lot of people out there thinking, he's gonna miss, because Bears kickers miss. The Bears kickers miss, and that's what I think. I think it's a mentality thing. Kicking, I think, is 90% mentality, 10% kicking. Okay, and I think this double doink got in their head. I know it's a little ridiculous and it's a little conspiracy theory. I just think it's something funny because of how bad their kickers really are. Okay, moving on to the previews. Let's start with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. This one's going to be a shootout, to say the least. Okay, let's start off with Tampa. Okay, Tampa Bay, the 4th-ranked passing offense in the league, will look to do damage against the Atlanta Falcons' piss-poor secondary. Since coming off their bye, they have gone 1-3. Jameis Winston has thrown 8 interceptions in that period. Look, I have said it before. I have said Jameis Winston could earn himself a contract over Marcus Mariota this season. I was right about that. He could have earned himself a contract. He has not shown that he is capable of taking care of the football. Not even in the slightest. He sucks. He can't take care of that ball. But he has these wonderful, just flashes of brilliance, of his arm talent just being fantastic. But those flashes aren't worth the scale. You put it on a scale, you get flashes on one side, on your left side, and you get shit on your right side. Well, the really bad play is going to outweigh the flashes a lot. Okay? The man is coming up on 100 interceptions for his short 4.5-year career. Atrocious. I believe that would break Jay Cutler's record if I did see that correctly. Atrocious. Okay. He has Bruce Arians in this corner, the quarterback whisperer, and he still isn't successful. That tells me something right there. I said this year he can earn himself a contract because of Bruce Arians, because he could take a weird leap in his 4th year. Or his 5th year. I'm sorry, this is his 5th year, I believe. And he's not. He's not taking a leap on protecting that football. And that's his biggest problem, is protecting the football. In this game, he needs to throw more touchdowns than interceptions. Because I know he's not going to take care of the ball. When playing even against this really bad Falcons secondary, he's still not going to take care of the ball. And look on the flip side, Atlanta, very similar situation for this game. Third-ranked offense, it's only one step above them, looking to put up crazy numbers against a bad Buccaneers defense, passing defense at least. Are we seeing a pattern here? Really good passing offense, really bad passing defense. Okay. Really, really similar. Both 3-7, both a top 5 passing offense, bottom 10 passing defense. Their running games suck. Ronald Jones needs to be handed the ball more often. Okay, and then on the Atlanta Falcons side, Devontae Freeman can't even stay on the field, or he's just getting flat out outplayed by any backup who's over there. Okay, he's not capturing the season that he had a couple years ago, or he's just injured. Okay, it's going to be a shootout. Whoever's defense can stop the other team just enough wins the game. That's the X factor, is whoever's defense can do just a little bit more than the other defense. Okay, that's where that one's coming into. All right, this next preview was requested by Jeff. Okay, thank you, Jeff. I did get another request for something else I'll go over at the end of this video. You guys, I'm open to requests. I love requests. It gave me just an immediate, okay, cool. I have someone who wants me to review a game or preview a game or anything like that. So I really like that. I need more of those, you guys. I need more comments from you guys. I need a little bit more discussion from you guys. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, let's start with Green Bay. They're going to be testing the 49ers. Okay, the Green Bay Packers are a legit playoff threat, or a legit playoff team to threaten them, I should say. Okay, they're led by Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. I do believe that the 49ers won't have really a problem with Aaron Jones in this game. But if they don't game plan, if they completely just go oblivious to Jamal Williams, then those two can have a game by complementing each other as they've done many times in the past. It seems that when one of them is on, or let's say this, if one of them is off, if Aaron Jones is having a bad game, Jamal Williams is having a fantastic game. Or if Jamal Williams just isn't playing very well, Aaron Jones is balling out. And that's just a product of Matt LaFleur and just being able to game plan for both the running backs. Okay, so if Aaron Jones is getting stopped, he's getting stuffed, he's just not doing very well, all right, cool. I'll plug Jamal Williams, and then boom, takes off. He's doing great. He's doing fantastic. Okay, it doesn't seem too much that they have a good game together, though. And that's what I would really like to see in this game. Okay. Let's not forget about Aaron Rodgers, obviously, and the way he's been playing in the new system set up by LaFleur. The key is for Aaron Rodgers to protect the ball against the 49ers defense, who feeds off of turnovers, and I don't really think that's going to be a problem for him because he only has 2 interceptions on the season. I think he'll take care of the ball perfectly fine, but he also hasn't played the league's number one defense, or number 2, depending on who you want to debate with, whether it's New England or it's them. Point is, he hasn't played a really fantastic defense like them, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, then there's the defense, Green Bay's defense, who needs to keep pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo, because when Jimmy Garoppolo, I talked about it against the game against Seattle. Wow, you guys, I cannot believe I just couldn't say that. In the game against Seattle, I said it. I said it multiple times if you guys were listening. He's not setting his feet. He's not setting his feet. He's not setting his feet. They look shaky. They look jittery. Well, I mean, he got his feet settled, but if Green Bay can keep that pressure on and keep him doing that for 3.5, for 4 quarters, for the whole time, if they could do it, I think Jimmy Garoppolo isn't going to play very well, which they can. They have the ability with the Smith brothers, quotations, Smith brothers. They're not brothers. Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, they're the anchors of the defense. I've watched these two play against the Cowboys. They were all over the place in Dak's face, in the backfield, hitting Zeke, covering, batting down the ball, hitting the ball, line of scrimmage. I mean, they were everywhere. Those two are ridiculous. And then, obviously, you can't forget about Blake Martinez, who just racks up the tackles, too, against the run. So, everybody needs to be playing very well for a win. And even on the flip side to San Francisco, let's move on to them. They're coming off a win against the Arizona Cardinals. They put up 34 points and forced 2 turnovers. Don't expect the same from them. On either side of it, the 34 points or the 2 turnovers. And I just talked about why. Aaron Rodgers doesn't turn over the ball very much. Their defense is pretty damn good. Okay? The 49ers need to get Tevin Coleman and the whole 49ers backfield in this game going. They need to get it going. Okay, because Green Bay has a pretty good rush defense already. But if they can get the safety just to come up a little bit more, come up in the box, not play with so many corners, play the run a little bit more, then it opens up the passing game for Jimmy Garoppolo. Here's what they need. They need a healthy Kittle, Sanders, and a Deebo Samuel that we have seen in the past couple of games. If this could happen, don't expect Jair Alexander and Kevin King to be able to lock down everybody. Because Amos won't be able to, and their other Darnell Savage, their other safety. Don't expect those two to be able to help over the top with Sanders and Goodwin with those guys' speed, and then be able to help in the seam too with Kittle. Okay, don't expect it. And then don't expect them to be able to cover Deebo Samuel, who's a good possession receiver, who has a lot of speed. He's just an all-around good rookie receiver. Don't expect this secondary to be able to contain these receivers. They need to, if they can get Tevin Coleman going, that's where it starts. Get him going. Get them to commit to the run a little bit more. Get them to have the safety. Take a couple steps up. Throw one over the top. Take advantage of a spread offense against the Packers. That's where it comes into play. That's the key to the game for the 49ers. Okay? And then for the defense on the 49ers side, they just need to play the way they've been playing to contain that offense. Okay? Should be a really fun game to watch. Has potential to be just as good as a game with Seattle and San Francisco a couple weeks ago. And there you go, Jeff. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Okay, so that's it for the previews. And let's move on to the 2 things I want to talk about. Okay, number 1, I want to talk about, there was a video going around of Dwayne Haskins coming up to his offensive lineman on the sideline, pleading with them, telling him, he kept saying, tell me what I got to do. Tell me what I got to do to help you guys. Tell me what I have to do. And he kept pleading with them. And the offensive line looked uninterested. Didn't care. Okay, what Dwayne had to say the whole time. There was only one guy trying to speak to him. Only one guy the entire time tried to even say anything to him. Everyone else was just like, whatever. Who cares? Whatever. And look, let me get this straight too, because apparently people were saying that he was blaming the offensive line for something. It doesn't make any sense to me. But apparently people were saying on Twitter that, oh my goodness, he's trying to blame the offensive line, which their offensive line sucks. They deserve a lot of blame. Who cares if he was blaming them? Because he should, because that line sucks. Okay? He wasn't blaming them, though. He was asking for guidance because he knows that these guys are veterans that have been playing and seeing more than he has. He's saying, help me. What am I not seeing? What am I not seeing here? What do I have to do to help you guys, though? What do I have to do to call out? What is Dwayne saying? What do I have to do to sit there under the center and call out this and this and this and this and this? What am I not seeing on the defense? Which, if I'm honest, he should have been paying more attention in the film room, because every single time that who's their starter? Case Keenum. Every time Case Keenum was on the sideline when he was a starter and came off the field, Dwayne Haskins was far away from him. But you see every other sideline, every time the starting quarterback comes off the field and he's looking at those tablets going over the plays. The backup quarterback's right there with him, talking with him too. Right there with the quarterback's coach. But Dwayne Haskins is always off to the side. So now he's sitting there and trying to plead with the offensive lineman saying, please help me, dude. He's finally getting in his head like, damn, I'm really not as good as I thought I was. I really need help. Now he's trying to plead with his guys. And this shows a lot how much the Redskins, as an organization, as the players, really care about this team. The young quarterback wants to learn. He wants to win because he's young. Everyone wants to win, but no one's helping him. That's just a little take on that. I thought it was a little newsworthy. Let me know what you guys think about Dwayne Haskins and the video. If I could find the video and if I could download the video, I'll put it in here of him pleading. It's a little bit not really distorted, but it's almost like an on the field type of hearing, so you get a lot of the stadium noise. So you hear the beginning of it, you see him how much he's pleading, and then it kind of just gets really loud. So, alrighty. You guys probably know at this point, I like lists. Top 10s, top 20s, top 5s. I like lists. I think they're a lot of fun to put together. They're a lot of fun to debate with people. Like I said in one of the first episodes of this podcast, I said, this is for debating with people. I like to debate with people. Okay? I have another one for you guys. The NFL 100 is starting to reveal their all-time team this Friday, and they're starting with the running backs. Great place to start. Let's get the controversy right out of the way. I bet they should go with the quarterbacks next after that, because that's probably the next most controversial. Okay? It's the 24 finalists were just announced not too long ago, and I thought it'd be fun to go over the list and give my final 12 because there'll only be 12 running backs being picked out of the 24. Another thing is the 24 coaches finalists were just revealed too. I'm not really a big coach guy. I don't really know a whole lot of coaches off the top of my head. If you guys want that, John Madden, Bill Belichick, Bill Walsh. There's Joe Gibbs, and I'm forgetting the guy with the second. He's Bill Belichick passed him for the most wins of all time. That guy too. Those guys would be on my list. But we're talking about the running backs because I know more about running backs. I kind of have a soft spot for the running back position because I love them so much. Let's start with the picks. My top 4, because they're the no-brainer tier. Everybody's gonna have these guys on their list here. And it's kind of in order. Let's do this. Walter Payton, number 1. Emmitt Smith, number 2. Barry Sanders, number 3. And Jim Brown, number 4. There's really no debate with these guys. No one's going to argue that Walter Payton shouldn't be on the list. Sweetness. No one's going to argue that Emmitt Smith shouldn't be on the list. The league's leading rusher of all time in yards. No one's going to argue with Barry Sanders isn't going to be on the list. Electric. Amazing. No one's going to argue that Jim Brown shouldn't be on the list. Okay, one of the greatest running backs of all time. Arguably the best, to some people, the best. Okay, let's move on to the next 4. Okay, Marcus Allen. And I'm going to stop here. Marcus Allen. If it wasn't for Bo Jackson, because I believe they were together for 4 years. If it wasn't for Bo, he'd be on the no-brainer tier list. I guarantee it. Wasn't for Bo, Marcus Allen would be in the no-brainer tier list, and he'd be up there with Walter, Barry, Emmitt, and Jim. No debate for me. Next, O.J. Simpson. The greatest running back to ever be forgotten in history. It's almost taboo to mention the dude's name. Because of obviously the case and da-da-da-da-da. The dude rushed for 2,000 yards in 12 games, I believe. 12? 14 games? 14 games. Insane. Nobody does that in 14 games. I don't care who you are. O.J. Simpson was incredible and underrated because of the case. Again, another guy who would be in the no-brainer tier if he continued, if he wasn't accused of that. My opinion. 3, or I guess this is 7. 7, Marshall Faulk. He wasn't the first dual threat. There was guys before Roger Craig. There are guys before him like Roger Craig, Thurman Thomas, guys like that. Marshall Faulk perfected it, though. I guess Thurman Thomas wasn't before him, though, right? I guess he started before him, I'm pretty sure. Marshall Faulk perfected the dual threat running back, though. Perfected it. Everybody wants to be like Marshall Faulk for a reason. Not Roger Craig, not Thurman Thomas, not all these other guys. They want to be like Marshall Faulk because he perfected it. And there's very few guys ever to be able to run like that and catch passes like that. Perfected it. Now, number 8, Eric Dickerson. Probably maybe should be higher on this list. It's kind of hard to place. These are legends. These are amazing running backs. The greatest of all time. He maybe should creak over he should creak over Marshall Faulk maybe. I don't think I could put him above OJ or Marcus. But he should maybe be a spot higher. It's debatable. But that just kind of shows you how hard it is to rate this list. Alrighty. The final 4 are the most flexible for me. These final 4, funny enough, are probably my 4 favorite running backs of all time. 4 of my favorite running backs of all time. Adrian Peterson. My favorite running back. Okay, of this generation. I have a soft spot before running backs, like I mentioned before, because of him. I started to fall in love with football because of Adrian Peterson. I wanted to watch highlights all day of Adrian Peterson. All day. You know, everybody knows the handoff to the left. Breaking through. Shakes one tackler. Takes the defender's head and throws him. Literally. Against the Browns. Everybody knows that one. That was his rookie season. I love Adrian Peterson. One of my favorites, if not my favorite of all time. 2, LaDainian Tomlinson, LT, the other LT. Probably the ultimate multi-tool at the running back position. Running, catching, throwing. Yes, throwing touchdowns. The man did it all. He deserves a spot on this list. Number 3, one of my favorite running backs from the early days, Earl Campbell. Everybody forgets about this dude. And he's so underrated. Obviously, he's on the list, and he was on the finalist list, so he's not that underrated. But people forget how good he really was. But everybody remembers when you show him the highlight of him straight trucking a dude, head down, and getting his jersey torn off. You're like, oh, yeah, that's the dude who's a beast. Yeah, no duh, it's the dude that's a beast. Next, I had a really, really tough time with this last spot. It was between Tony Dorsett, Harold Grange, Red Grange. I believe he was one of the first players to come straight out of college into an NFL game. He literally played his first NFL game straight out of college on Thanksgiving. He went straight from college, boom, to the NFL. One of the first guys to do the crossover, I guess. So, Tony Dorsett, Harold Red Grange, and there was one other guy that I was debating between. But ultimately, I came to the conclusion of Tony Dorsett because I'm a homer, duh. And because we have the same birthday, look it up. So I kind of decided that this was my tiebreaker. I couldn't decide who gets the final spot. I was almost going to put a tie between the last of them, and I was like, no, my viewers really won't like a tie between the last. That's not the point. If I had to make a list, if my life depended on it, he would probably make it just because of the stupid, we have the same birthday and I'm a homer. Duh. Okay, that's it for what are we in? 4th episode of the HG Sports Podcast. I've had a lot of fun in this episode. Okay, last thing. Josh requested a Derek Carr breakdown. It is coming, but I had to put it on the back burner because of the news with Colin Kaepernick. Yes, I didn't forget that Colin Kaepernick is a newsy-worthy thing. I have a breakdown right now in progress. I am reviewing film. I'm in his 2014 year. I am watching every single pass that this guy has ever thrown. Okay, I'm about 70% of the way done with it. Just need to go over a couple more things, review some more film. That will be out by probably next, say Saturday. Probably this Saturday or next Monday. That's when that one will be out. And then the Derek Carr video, I will go over every single game that Derek Carr has played so far. no matter how long it takes me, and then I'll put out a player breakdown. So that will be a separate section. It won't be a segment at the end of a video. It will just be titled Player Breakdown dash Colin Kaepernick, Player Breakdown dash Derek Carr. So it is coming. I didn't forget about it. That's going to be it for the November 20th episode of the HG Sports Podcast. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, put it down in the comment section. And requests, lots of requests, comment section. Don't forget to like the video. It helps me out lots. Subscribe to the channel. Post notifications so you get it. Okay? That is all. Peace.